condense a lot. All right, so now we're all done with all the paperwork. We've gone through the process. It's time for our number 6. It's time for the teacher evaluation and final rating document. So it's time for us to come up with your final rating. Okay? This will just be the paper we fill out that you sign. Yes?
Just spend kind of a lot of paper just to kind of recap real quick.
Yep.
So at the very beginning of the year, right before you start your cycle, that teacher career reflection form is basically go, I want to work on student assessment. That's the thing I really want to focus on. I want to make sure this cycle I'm doing the best I can to assess students the best way I can. So that's my SMART goal. That's my thing I'm going to work on for my whole cycle. And then you have when we're getting ready for observation, I've got my profile form so that the administrator knows what I've got in my class. And then I've got that pre-observation form so that we meet, we have a discussion, we know exactly what I'm doing, they know what to look for. I have a focus of what I want to make sure that they know. Then we actually do the lesson, and right after that lesson, I want to reflect on how I did. And then I want to fill out that post-observation sheet so that when we talk after the lesson, here's the things we're going to have a discussion about. So basically, at the beginning of the year, this is my goal for the whole cycle. And then we have, this is the conversation we're having before, this is the conversation we're having after, and now we get evaluated.
In addition to that, will be all the informal observations that we have done throughout, that we provided you with. This is what we saw in your classroom, this is what we saw in your classroom, this is what we saw in your classroom. Will be used to come up with our final rating. Right.
And the things that we know they won't be seeing, but we will be collecting so that we can say this is the stuff we do in our classrooms.
Hopefully giving us those in your post-observation conference, giving us those in your beginning of the year conference. Probably not next year because we're new at it, but those of you on a 2-year cycle, the second year we meet to start the year, you could say, hey, these are some things I did last year that I collected last year for you. I'm providing those for us. The plan for us, I'm thinking, is we're all going to have a folder for every one of you. We're just going to keep all that in there and keep track of what we have. So we get ready to do your final evaluation. We sit down and look at the evidence, look at the artifacts. We say, okay, what did they provide for us? What did they not? And we will be learning this too. We got a little bit of a head start on it with you guys. But I think as we go along, if we're not seeing some things, we will come to you and say, this domain, you're not really covering this domain very well. We need to make sure we get some evidence of what's going on here. Maybe that'll happen for non-tenors in your first observation, in the first time we meet with you post-observation conference. For the tenured teachers, it'll be maybe we request a meeting after an informal and say, look, can you come in? I want to just tell you some things that I'm not finding a whole lot of this. This is what I need to see if you're going to be meeting the criteria to be excellent, meeting the criteria to be proficient.
So if you teach 4 or 5 different subjects at the high school, your goal could be different for each one of those. Are we supposed to be focused?
I think when it comes to SMART goals are your teaching all around. It's not necessarily class specific.
That's correct.
Okay, it's not I'm going to teach my third-hour business kids better, or I know it's really vague and childish, but it's
tied into the 4.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And if you look at some of the examples that are on there, and look at some of that stuff that's on there, I think you'll really understand it.
I just put one up.
Yeah. Right. You only need to have one. Yeah. There may be. You might have one and say, I also want to work on this. That's fine. That's fine. But it needs to make sure it ties to the domains, it ties to the components. But I think when you look at it, you'll see it's a very broad picture of how you're going to improve it's specific to you, but it's not specific to a class.
Yeah, can I jump in?
Yeah, please.
I think the whole idea of this is to promote better professional development for individual teachers. Instead of providing professional development in a big group setting where you maybe learn about something that you're already very good at, I think the idea of this is to give you individual professional development. So as a teacher, I'm really weak in this area. I'm not very good at this. And so you say, well, that's going to be my SMART goal. I'm going to work on that. And that can influence what you do in all of your classes.
Like Mikey's example of assessment. You can get better in this, assessing. You're going to get better in assessing all your classes. Assessment's going to improve in all your classes. As a teacher, you're going to get better at assessing. You're going to get better at classroom management. You're going to get better at planning. Maybe you're just not very good at planning a lesson to get it going. mean, so it needs to be for all your classes, but good question.
Your SMART goal doesn't have to cover all 4 domains. It has to cover 2 and 3 of the domains.
Right. Correct.
She said, because we're sorry.
Your SMART goal doesn't have to cover all 4 domains. You know, just a couple of them's fine. Yeah. Good questions. All right, so